And then there was the Charlie Nova. Yeah, the A and the B may have had some drawbacks, but by comparison they're largely playable. The Charlie Nova, on the other hand, is a friggin' nightmare. This is a mech that comes with an SRM-4, a small pulse laser, and a Gauss rifle. Now, you might be thinking, but the Gauss rifle's a great weapon. It certainly is, when you have ammunition for it. Stock, this thing comes with a single ton of ammunition for the Gauss rifle, which is a whole 10 shots. And even with ammunition skills, that's going to get you up to what, 12? Maybe 14? Not a lot. And certainly not enough for a 50-tonner. And you get a whole ton of ammunition for the SRM, and that's shallot. That's all you get. I went into this one thinking, well, the A and B were losses. This is most definitely going to be a crushing defeat on my part. And that's when fate decides to really stick the finger. No, not only did it give me a win, this match actually gave me kills. I don't know what was going on, but somehow in this match I get kills in this fucking thing. And it's a weird position to be in, because the Charlie is a terrible build, yet here is a video of me winning in the Charlie stock. So the only way I can pitch the Nova C is to say, if I can get a win in something that's this bad, think of how well you do in it when you customize it. Because that's the best I can come up with for it. It's an awful build. Even on tabletop, I doubt it was particularly fondly remembered by many people who even use that often. So let's talk a little bit about the background of the Nova, shall we? The Nova was a mech that's actually built by Clan Hell's Horses back in the 2800s. It was actually quite an old Omni-Mech design. It's probably up there with like the Woodsman and such. Sadly, a mech that we won't see. Instead, it decided to create the Sun Spider so they can sell T-shirts. So yeah, it's a pretty old Omni-Mech design actually, and a bit like a lot of battle mechs in the universe. There isn't just this production line that's just shitting them out every week. You know, oh, there's 50 more, send them out to the front. Now, battle mechs are a very, very complex piece of machinery in the Battletech universe, and making one mech is a huge amount of effort, time, money and resources invested. Battle mechs generally are sort of hoarded as long as possible, although novels and the such will generally fritter away whole units and battalions of battle mechs. In reality, the production of a single battle mech line on a planet is a vital resource, and even for the clans this was the case where the Nova was built, which is the Tokasha Mech Factory, which, as I said, was originally owned by Hell's Horses. And they produced them semi-regularly, but not in massive numbers. And as such, when they lost I think the Clan Ghost Bear, production of the Nova pretty much ceased. And as such, all of the Novas that are in the Clan Tauman around the time of the invasion of the Inner Sphere are actually Isola, and there haven't been any new ones produced since I think the 2900s. As the Nova is actually a mech that, for everyone lost in the Battletech universe, that's one less that will never be replaced. Or at least its time during the clan invasion meant that it wasn't one that was ever replaced. Spare parts were still being produced, but that was the case in the Inner Sphere as well. Plenty of mechs ceased production, still had a few smaller facilities that would produce some basic parts to keep them running, if they could. Or if they could do basic refits that would mean they didn't have to use a certain piece of Starleague technology. Clans had a similar situation where certain mechs that they just weren't building anymore didn't need certain production parts, so yeah, they'd switch out, and hence one of the reasons Omnipods were so useful is, well, if we don't have this to replace a damaged part, we could slot in that Omnipod. It was one of the benefits of Omni technology. One of the other interesting parts of the Nova was that it was actually one of the first built specifically to carry toads, which is the nickname for elemental units that the Inner Sphere gave them. That's one of the reasons why it's kind of low to the ground, and the original artwork for it from Battletech generally has it with very wide flat arms on the top, which allowed the elementals to stand on. They could also latch onto other parts of the mech as well, and it would basically act as a kind of fast-moving APC that could also deal a hell of a lot of damage and then get out of there while the elementals dismounted and moved on to their targets. So yeah, that's pretty much the Nova. Much like one of the problems with MechWarrior Online is because I know Russ recently stated that, you know, MechWarrior Online is the BattleTech game of all time, or whatever dumb, drunk shit he said. The reality is just that MechWarrior Online doesn't really emphasise the fact that many of these mechs are in so few numbers that losing something like an Atlas, for instance, is a crushing blow to any military that it was part of at the time. And as such, you don't really see Atlases all that often on the battlefields in the NFA, and when you do, it's generally either as a sort of intimidation factor, there's an incredibly skilled pilot in there, or it's being used in some kind of operation where victory is pretty much getting Atlases there just to break the lines. It was very rare that Atlases were committed to the fight without some kind of guarantee we're going to have an advantage in the fight, because as I said, losing one is extremely difficult to replace, and even maintaining them is a very costly expenditure for any of even the Great House militaries. And the clans had similar issues. The planets weren't exactly thriving with raw materials and resources, and as such the mechs sometimes suffered because of that. And yeah, so Nova lost was a bit of a blow to whatever clan had them, because that means that they don't have them for things like blood name trials, being able to use them for any of their frontline Trueborn warriors and the such, since Omnimechs were reserved for the Trueborns, and it would mean that they'd have to replace it with another design that may or may not be better, depending on what they had available or what they could get. So, with the other factor also being that the clan war machines were generally on their bidding, so they would end up overbidding or underbidding each other, and sometimes that could lead to unnecessary losses, things that they couldn't very easily replace. Losing any of their mechs in the early stages of the invasion was not noticeable at first, but it became more and more common to see clans having to retrofit their stars with different mechs and the such. So. And that's a long ramble to cover quite a long match. So you saw me get a kill there. That was on a catapult. I just thought, fuck it, if I die here, at least I've lasted a long time. I've expended the ammunition on the Gauss rifle. All I've got left is close range weapons. And then there's this Thanatos that I came across. Gambled on him having an XL engine and maybe I'd be able to pop the side. His build was pretty good. I had a light Gauss rifle. He called me out, but somehow I managed to survive. Somehow I managed to, I think I got him, I killed him. Yeah, because I typed like the fuck, because I just didn't think I was going to win this. There was a player who I've met a few times, Angris Winstone I think he is. He's in the chat, and I mean I told everybody what my build was and that I didn't think I'd get a kill. I said, I think my words at the beginning of the round was, I'd be shocked if I get a kill in this thing, and I'm up to 2. I'm still alive in this really good match of Alpine Peak's domination. I think it's domination. Yeah, no? I can't tell. I think it's domination, but it was, yes, it was domination, because at this point we could have won, because they have 2 mechs. And all the rest of my team have to do is go back around the hill and not get hit, because we would win on the timer, but they keep peeking to shoot at the sniper Marauder 2C. If they all just left, like I'm doing, it would have to come closer so we could at least ambush it at close range and get the kill, or the timer would run down. But no, these chuckle nuts keep wanting to out, and it took ages, but we did eventually win on the timer. Because, I don't know, because people had a massive hard-on for getting the kill. So the rest of this round is just me stood up on a hill looking at a Marauder, just sort of like, well, fuck all I can do. I was hoping for a chance that if it got too close I was just going to jump jet down and start firing at it, with, you know, some vain hope I might have been able to cripple it. But yeah, that was pretty much it for this round. It's the longest match of the 5 Novas, because of the waiting for the round to end, and that's why I held back all of that juicy lore stuff for you about the Nova, because I don't think that was covered in the technical readout. Because the problem with a lot of the clan stuff is that the initial technical readout is all from the point of view of comport, so none of it's the actual technical data. Then there's a later update one that's all from the clan point of view, and then there's other bits and pieces of information that spread out across multiple different books. It's a bit of a pain with clan technical readout stuff. Yeah, it's good for in lore setting, but actual hard facts about certain mechs, they drip fed them for a long time across multiple releases of technical readouts and updates and stupid shit like that. Outside that, I think the round's pretty close to finishing, so I'll leave you with that one. God bless, leave you there. Thanks for watching, have a good week, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!